Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Heretic, Why Islam Needs a Reformation Now. And Heretic, Why Islam Needs a Reformation Now, Ayaan Hirsi Ali confronts the growing violence and extremism conducted in the name of Islam. This book summary delves into the foundations of the religion and examines its different sects, shedding light on the factors that fuel such violence. With a critical eye, Ali suggests 5 central tenets of Islam that need to change or be abandoned, offering potential avenues for a much-needed reform. Expect to gain insights into the complexity of Islam, its foundational texts, and the global socio-political implications of the religion.
The Justification of Islamic Terrorism. Understanding the Qur'an and the mindset of Islamic terrorists is critical in addressing the violence committed in the name of Islam. While most Muslims are peaceful, the holy text of the Qur'an justifies violence in certain situations, such as blasphemy or adultery. The belief that the Qur'an calls for violence is held by Islamic terrorists in some countries, making it difficult to hold the Muslim community accountable for perpetuating this belief. Evaluating the core concepts and foundational texts of Islam is necessary to challenge violent interpretations and resolve this problem. Understanding the 3 groups of Muslims. Islam is a religion based on the Quran and Hadith, and all Muslims share fundamental beliefs, but differences between them originate from the Prophet's changing behavior over time. This has resulted in 3 groups of Muslims: fundamentalist Medina Muslims, non-violent Mecca Muslims, and modifying Muslims. While Mecca Muslims make up the majority of the world's Muslim community, Medina Muslims are known for imposing their faith on others and glorifying martyrdom. Understanding these groups is necessary for comprehending the complexities within the Islamic community. 5 Islamic Tenets to Change. Tawfiq Hamid, an Islamic reformer, asserts that there is a need for change in the Islamic faith. He identifies 5 central tenets that need to be reconsidered or abandoned. These tenets include the semi-divine status of Muhammad, the focus on life after death, the promotion of Sharia law, the empowerment of individuals to enforce Islamic law, and the authority to wage holy war. All of these tenets can be used to justify violence and are based on outdated beliefs. Hamid suggests that the literalistic interpretation of the Quran is dangerous as it can be misused to justify terrorism. Interestingly enough, the Quran has been reinterpreted in the past, and Islamic doctrine has adapted over time through abrogation. There is hope that through reinterpretation or abrogation, the militant verses in the Quran can be de-emphasized in favor of less militant ones. It is essential to consider Hamid's proposed reforms for the betterment of the Islamic faith. Islam's roadblocks to reform. Islamic doctrine, fear of critical thought, and the connectedness of religion and state are major roadblocks for Muslim reform. Making a Muslim reformation happen is a tricky task as seen through the roadblocks on the way. For instance, severe punishment or even death is warranted in some Islamic countries towards individuals who criticize Islam. Many attempts at reform have thus stalled, partly because criticism is deemed blasphemous and the Quran is viewed as unquestionably timeless and perfect. With the idea of reform being mostly non-existent in Islamic doctrine, efforts are often channeled towards regressive reform. Islamist terrorists typically seek such kind of reform and hold the Hadith as a yardstick for actions. Another significant roadblock to Muslim reform is the connectedness between the Islamic religion and state. For instance, while the separation of church and state during the Christian Reformation facilitated it, the high interconnectedness of the state and religion in many Muslim-majority nations causes difficulty in the quest for reform. Muslim clerics view Islam as a holistic system that informs political, social, personal, and religious beliefs. As such, reformers face a daunting task in trying to separate religion from politics to achieve reforms. Islam, Muhammad, and the Quran. Islam's uniqueness lies in its view on Muhammad, the Quran, and the strict social order it establishes. Unlike Christianity and Judaism, Islam views both its prophet and scriptures as divinely perfect. This unique perspective on Muhammad and the Quran makes criticism of Islam akin to blasphemy. While criticism is necessary for reform and change, understanding Muhammad as a historical human figure and the Quran as a historically constructed text is paramount. Muhammad, the founder of Islam, established a system of moral and political rules, evolved into Sharia law, and provides guidelines on organizing Muslim society. The strict social order instilled through rules such as the prohibition of stealing leads to a community that epitomizes honor and shame. Any shameful behavior risks expulsion from the community or a so-called honor killing. In many ways, Islam can be seen as a religion of submission, and the commandments in the Quran are laws dictating believers' religious duties. Overall, Islam's uniqueness lies in its view on Muhammad, the Quran, and its establishment of a strict social order, which makes it more than a religion. Unveiling the cruel reality of Sharia law. Sharia law, also known as Islamic law, is a controversial and outdated system that organizes all aspects of public and private life. Despite its cruel punishments such as beheadings, stonings, and lashings, it is still enforced in many Islamic countries and expected from all Muslims, even within the family. Outdated laws like these that have remained unchanged since the 7th century are seen as God-given, coming directly from Muhammad's divine revelations. Even though it permits cruel forms of punishment, enforcement of Sharia law is still in practice today. Anyone who dares to question these laws will face charges of blasphemy. The book example highlights the case of a man who killed his daughter for liking makeup, boys, and Western music. The father was sentenced to 34 years in prison, but many in the local Iraqi community defended his actions, citing that the daughter's behavior was not in accordance with Islamic law. The truth about Jihad. The Quran supports violence and terrorism in the name of Islam through Jihad, a religious obligation that dates back to Muhammad's time. The goal of every Muslim is to make Islam the only religion in the world, and this is openly discussed on social media platforms. Islamic authorities need to prohibit jihad to end attacks and promote a peaceful religion like Christianity did by giving up its militancy. It's time for people to stop considering Islam as a peaceful religion if they want the authorities to take appropriate action. The call for Muslim reform. Despite the obstacles, a movement for Muslim reform is taking shape as a result of three converging factors. First, the internet and social media are connecting like-minded individuals and enabling them to spread the message of reform. Second, Muslims are looking to Western countries for a better life as Islamist governments fail to deliver on their promises, and this migration is leading to greater exposure to reform ideas. Finally, religious reform-minded groups are emerging in important Islamic states, and there is a growing understanding that the radical fundamentalism of groups such as ISIS is abhorrent to many Muslims. Although there may be challenges along the way, such as cocooning or increasing radicalization, it is only a matter of time before the desire for a better life prevails and reform becomes the only viable option. This movement has gained support from unexpected sources, such as the government of the United Arab Emirates, which has called for coordinated international action against Islamic extremism.
Ayaan Hirsi Ali's Heretic exposes the significant factors contributing to violence and extremism within Islam, offering a new perspective on the necessity for reformation. As you learned from the summary, a re-examination of the 5 tenets of Islam can help mitigate violence conducted in the name of the religion. The book outlines the opportunities and roadblocks faced in achieving this reformation, emphasizing the importance of understanding and embracing the cultural intricacies of Islam to foster change. This work underlines the urgency for Muslims, Islamic states, and the international community to support progressive reforms and challenge harmful traditions while respecting the core beliefs of the religion.